So where do they go next with Dr. Anthony Fauci? Rand Paul has a point to make on that. And more of the socialists are bringing the mainstream, so-called mainstream Democrats on board with their nutty positions. Let's go.
Let's go.
And there's WNBA news as well. But thanks for being here today. I got to tell you, I was watching Senator Rand Paul on America's Newsroom today on Fox News, where they just keep bringing the best analysts and guests. And I mean, really, they keep crushing it, America's Newsroom. I got to hand them major props, because everybody that goes on that show has something intelligent to offer. Really, they do. It's remarkable. But for Senator Rand Paul...
You wearing makeup, Rich?
Okay, I was watching from the green room before I went on America's Newsroom, but I feel like,
there it is.
Yeah, so
well done.
It's kind of thank you. It was kind of a way to, squeeze that in there. So there I was in the green room watching Senator Rand Paul on America's Newsroom as I was about to go on America's Newsroom. And I thought, wow, they get the best people on this show. Here's what he had to say this morning to the lovely Dana Perino and Bill Hemmer, both of them lovely people. And this is what he said.
It's a resolution saying that he should be considered for charges for contempt of Congress. I think if that resolution passes our committee, which it will, that it could simply be referred directly to the Department of Justice. Now, we can debate that, but since it's not really a law, it doesn't have an exact procedure. I think there's a possibility that we don't go to this wholesale floor, but that the committee passes it and we go directly to the Department of Justice.
All right, so I've had a lot of people ask me, Rich, can they hold him in contempt because he did not answer and he took the Fifth Amendment, but he's been pardoned? And what does that mean? Okay, so first of all, it's not clear. There really is a lot of legal ambiguity with this because we're talking about testimony to Congress, not in a criminal court. But, there's some that argue Supreme Court precedent says if you've accepted a pardon, you have to cooperate because you can't be charged for anything you've done. Therefore, you have to cooperate with the investigation. Same thing if you've been given immunity or anything else. There's other lawyers who believe the courts have held that the Fifth Amendment protects you even if you've been pardoned. It's kind of back and forth. I would argue that the Supreme Court precedent, as of right now, seems to say that if you've accepted a pardon, then you have to cooperate with the government. But that doesn't mean they can charge you, though, necessarily. And this is where it becomes gray, because if you were to deliberately lie about something, and you're under oath, that would be perjury. So then you're protecting yourself against perjuring yourself. And the courts don't really like that if you've received a pardon and can't be charged for any of the things that you did under the pardon. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think that if the committee votes and it goes to the Justice Department, either A, the Justice Department does nothing with it, or B, they do and they charge him with contempt. Then it goes to court and there's appeals. And ultimately this question gets resolved by the Supreme Court. Can you force somebody who's been pardoned to have to cooperate with the United States Congress in the course of their investigation of a government official doing his job? Because let's understand, Congress has a unique oversight ability. And if you block that, then the checks and balances system don't work. So Fauci was not a private citizen. He was a government official, the executive branch of government, doing this job as the NIH director, the National Infectious Disease, whatever. And now the Congress is saying, we want to address what you did. He's been pardoned, so he can't be criminally charged for any of the stuff he's done. I would view it as the courts would have to say, Congress needs to be able to do their oversight job. You can't be charged unless you deliberately lie. So you have to answer. That's my personal belief, because otherwise you then completely stymie Congress from having the ability to do any oversight of any executive branch employee, because they'll just go in there and cite the Fifth and over again. And they'll hide behind that. But if they've received a pardon and they can't be charged for anything, I would think the courts would say you have to answer the questions, because otherwise Congress can't do its job. Again, I'm not talking about a separate criminal court here. I'm talking about the United States Congress. And the only way they can have oversight over the health agencies is if they're able to, any government agency, is if they're able to get answers from these officials. Because how else can they do their job, the constitutionally prescribed job of oversight of the executive? Every time an executive employee or former employee comes before them, they cite the Fifth Amendment. You would never be able to get oversight done. So typically what you'd say is, look, anything you tell us, we're not going to charge you, but we have to get to the bottom of this. So therefore, we'll agree to waive any charges. You have to answer our questions, though. And we've seen that in criminal courts, even at a lower level. Again, but this is specific to the Congress of the United States of America. But again, I don't know for sure. I'm not an attorney, and there's attorneys that disagree on this point. Attorneys disagree on everything. That's why you have courtrooms. That's why you argue the case, and that's why Supreme Court will come out with a decision that'll probably be 5-3 or 6-2 or whatever it is, 6-3. But that's typically how these things go. My opinion is, I think if it went to the Supreme Court would say, if you've accepted a pardon and you can't be charged for any of the things you've done, and the questions are limited to the time covered by the pardon, you have to answer those questions to help the United States Congress do its job of oversight of the executive branch of government. That's what I think the court would ultimately say. And that you can't be charged criminally for anything you've done because you've been pardoned. So therefore, you have no reason to hide behind the Fifth Amendment. And just don't perjure yourself. Like, just don't lie. You have to tell the truth. But we'll see. I just wanted to, again, I'm not trying to give false hope here. And I hate when people do that. I really don't like when people do that. I also don't think it's an open and shut thing where people go, well, there's no way they can ever charge him because everybody has a Fifth Amendment right. You do, unless you agree to something with the government in exchange for waiving your Fifth Amendment right to cooperate in an investigation. And I think the courts have held over time that if you have a pardon, then you've accepted whatever you've done. As long as they can't charge you for what you've done, you have to answer the questions and you have to cooperate. You have to help. But we'll see. Here's another cut of Rand Paul. He's going to give a mountain of evidence against Dr. Fauci to the Florida Attorney General. So the states are investigating Fauci as well. And you might argue, is this double jeopardy? But no, I mean, federal pardons, the presidential pardons don't cover crimes that are state crimes. But this may all be bluster. To be honest with you, this may all be bluster. You know, DeSantis is out there saying he's going to charge Fauci, he's going to investigate him. You got other red states saying that. I mean, whether or not that holds up in court, I don't even know what the charges would be necessarily, because he didn't actually authorize anything in their state. He was giving guidance. He was giving advice. That advice and guidance proved to be wrong, maybe willfully wrong, but he didn't make the decisions. They did. So I don't know exactly how you charge him. And again, I'm just being honest with you here. I've given you my analysis of this. I mean, you could say, well, he gave us bad advice, therefore we're charging him. But you didn't have to take it. No one forced you to follow his guidance. So, and you could sue on behalf of your residents, but that would not be criminal. That would be civil. So maybe that's where this all ends up. The states suing him civilly. Maybe they do a class action lawsuit on behalf of their citizens who got the vaccine or something like that, or their elderly who died in nursing homes or whatever, kids who lost years in school. Maybe they take them to civil court. But do I honestly believe, as I sit here, that Fauci is going to wind up in prison? No. He might end up in jail for a few months under contempt charges, but that's a maybe. I'm not telling you that's definitely going to happen. But I think if you're sitting here going, he's going to end up in prison, probably not likely. And my job is to give you the truth, not to give you false hope, not to do anything other than to give you the absolute best analysis of the situation. But I don't know for sure, and I'm admitting that. I don't think anybody knows for sure. I think there's a lot of untested gray area here that we just have to resolve in the courts. But nevertheless, here's Rand Paul talking to Benny Johnson about that.
We're happy to share our information with anybody. Most of the things that we had looked at that we believed were breaking a federal law were destroying records, which is a federal law, lying to Congress, which is a federal law, and now what we're contemplating is sending a referral to the Department of Justice for obstruction of a congressional investigation. So those are very federal. I don't know right offhand what the state charges would be. We're open to cooperating. We have a mountain of evidence, and we're more than willing to share it with people who wish. We've been sharing most of it, frankly, with the public. We've been putting as much out there as possible so people can make up their own mind. Plus, there's 1,000,001 people like yourself and other sleuths that will go through this and find things that maybe even we didn't find.
So again, even Rand Paul's acknowledging, I don't know what the charges would be. All right, that's the big story of the hour, brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria Dental. Go see him today for your beautiful smile, just like I have, because he's a great dentist and my friend and my family's dentist as well, including Mama Zeoli, who discovered him for our family. Friday, a week from tomorrow, we're live at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. Come out and join us. It's going to be a fantastic time. It'll be a beautiful day, I think. I mean, I can't predict that far in the future, but the weather reports look good so far, and you deserve a Friday off in August. 3 to 6 p.m., the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. I'll see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the socialists are taking over, obviously, as we know, everywhere. And it's just like one of those situations where every day we have another story right now of socialists who are taking and seizing power. But this guy, Mamdani, the commie, what this guy has done by doxing his own residents, be very afraid of this. Be very afraid, because Mamdani is doing straight out of the communist playbook. You know, Mao had lists, and obviously the USSR had lists, and that's what he's doing. Wall Street Journal, Mamdani fires warning shot at the city's elite with this pied-à-terre tax. And when you read the story about this and you look at this, you find out something. This is only happening, this tax on second residences, because Governor Kathy Hochul went along with it. And that's the broader point, is that these so-called, and I'm going to use air quotes here, mainstream Democrats are the ones who are enabling the socialists because they're terrified of them, the Democrat Socialists of America. And now he puts out this list. He doxes his own residents, shows their addresses. It's deliberate. He's now blaming that on a software glitch, but the reality is it's deliberate, because they always want to pit the haves versus the have-nots. So it's like, oh, look, here are all the haves. You have-nots get angry at these people, and here are their addresses, by the way. The irony of this is some of the people on that list include the actresses from Sex and the City, who all supported Zohran Mamdani. And they've been doxxed too. A lot of his friends have been doxxed. He doesn't care. He cares about dividing people. That's just what he does. Mamdani just handed the internet thousands of names and addresses. Daily Wire reporting this. Very scary when you think about what the power of the communists can be to do this. Mamdani just handed the internet thousands of names and addresses. The Department of Finance uploaded a searchable database, including the addresses and names of property owners. So you can see exactly who these people are, the names of the owners that could be subject to the new pied-à-terre tax, in a very easy way to search, Excel spreadsheet on nyc.gov. And what you have is you have so many mistakes happening that now people have to prove that they do live in New York full time and they don't have a second home. It's nuts. It's crazy. And the glee and the joy that this communist takes with this entire thing when he says, you know, if you have a second home in New York City worth more than $5 million, check your mailbox when you're back in the 5 boroughs because you've got mail. Like, what a total blank ICK. You know what I mean? Just that's the way the guy is. He's just a jerk. And if you remember when he came out and he knocked on the camera, tapped on the camera with such joy and glee to announce that he's going to be taxing people, like this was his, like the best day of his life.
When I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million. This pied-à-terre tax is specifically designed for the richest of the rich, those who store their wealth in New York City real estate, but who don't actually live here. But even so, they're able to reap the huge financial rewards of owning property in, dare I say, the greatest city in the world. And most of the time, these units are sitting empty, since again, they don't actually live here. This is a fundamentally unfair system that hurts working New Yorkers. Now, it's coming to an end. This tax will raise at least $500 million directly for the city. It'll help fund things like free childcare, cleaner streets.
All right, shut up. Yeah, enough with you. But basically, it's like this. Why would anybody have a second place in New York City? Why? Ken Griffin, who was just doxxed there by the mayor of New York City, why would he, sell it and get out of there? And that's what you're going to see happen. And then you know where people will go until Mikie Sherrill does something as stupid? They'll go to Jersey City. They'll go to Hoboken. They don't need to be in New York City. They can afford a driver. You know, they get a beautiful place on the waterfront and along the Gold Coast of North Jersey with city views of New York City. And every time they want to go in the city, just jump into a helicopter, jump into a limo, and they're there. Like, they don't have to be there. Mamdani's class enemies list by the Wall Street Journal editorial board. He publishes the names and addresses of his property tax target. But what I like about this is they do say it is the enemies list. 960,000 people who could have to pay. Nothing like publicly stigmatizing your class of enemies, comrade. But it's only possible because Governor Kathy Hochul signed the law to enable this to occur. And that's the broader point that I'm making here today on the show, which is that eventually all of these so-called mainstream Democrats will fall in line and do the bidding of the socialists and the communists. And they're really one and the same. So, I mean, I don't have to say communists, and if somebody writes me a note, I'll say socialists and they'll write me a note on social media like they're communists. It's the same friggin' thing, all right? It's the same thing. Dr. Wilfred Riley is going to join me tomorrow. I'm going to go into depth with him about where this socialism really came from. But it's important to note, like, they're one and the same. So, but they're falling in line, and they don't care what, like, say, Rahm Emanuel has to say. Rahm Emanuel, the Chicago political boss, Rahm Emanuel, who's calling him out and saying, look, they hate America. They hate our country. I'll play that for you in just a second. But first, I want to say about the great deals at Tri-County Auto, our wonderful sponsor. So Bridget and I were there recently. We bought a beautiful minivan from Tri-County Toyota. It is a Toyota Sienna, and it's absolutely beautiful. And the best part about it is that it's made in America. That's right. Toyota made a huge investment in the United States of America, and we were able to get a beautiful American car. And I'm so happy about that fact. Now, they got great deals going throughout the month, and there'll be new deals coming out very soon. The reason why I want you to go is because they're great people. Brian and Cheryl Krieger, who own the dealership, they love our veterans. That's how I met them, was through the Travis Manning Foundation. They donated a beautiful Jeep to the Travis Manning Foundation for all their programs, and they support this show. So that's why you should go see them. You'll get a great experience. Big savings on Jeeps, American-made Jeeps. Big savings on Toyotas, many of them made right here in America. So go see them today. Go to tricounty.com. Tricounty.com. They're right off of 422 in Limerick. Easy to get to from everywhere. King of Prussia, Jersey, the Main Line, you name it. Tricounty.com. So Rahm Emanuel's warning that a new generation of Democrat socialists don't like America. No, I think they hate America, actually, Rahm. They hate America. But he's correct in that they don't like, because if you don't like something, if you hate something, you also don't like it. So he's not wrong. He's just not going far enough with his words. Like, they hate America. But he's warning about that, and this is what he said.
There's just some that I can't be in the same camp with.
So what do you think, Rahm? Do you agree with him?
Well, look, I just laid out my view about this whole program, which is you got to flip red to blue, not blue to cobalt blue. And there is a difference. There are candidates out there, specifically like in New York City, who don't like America. I happen to think being an American means you win the lottery ticket of life. There are challenges in America that is not living up to its potential, as outlined here on the 250-year anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, where America falls short, but you always struggle for that better. There are people in the Democratic Socialist Party who literally do not like America, think it is a bad country. They don't have any identity. And that is not the Democratic Party that I'm a part of. It is not the Democratic Party that struggles to make sure that other people get a chance to be in the winner's circle.
All right, enough with this guy. Fox News, Schumer dodges questions on whether the GSA belongs in the Democrat Party. He doesn't want to answer it. You know why he doesn't want to answer it? Of course you do. You're a smart person. We'll put the article up on the screen. Thank you, Jared. He doesn't want to answer because he's afraid. Why did Kathy Hochul go along with the pied-à-terre tax? Same reason. They're afraid of the commies, and they will capitulate to them. They will surrender. Eventually, that will happen. Look, the question that Dana asked me today on America's Newsroom, shameless plug, was, do you think there's billionaires behind the Democrat Socialists of America? And I said, 100%. There has to be. They claim that they have a budget of $9 million. I don't believe that for a second. I think the money's already there, and it's coming. And as more billionaires, Soros and others get behind this movement, I think they're probably already in the room, then they're going to spread even more across the country. And you will watch as mainstream Democrat after mainstream Democrat falls in line and does whatever the commies want. You'll see it. I'm telling you, don't doubt me on this. It's happening already. So they're all playing footsie with them, and with the exception of Fetterman, they're all playing footsie, and they're turning around and they're saying the same thing, which is, well, it's a Big Ten. It's a Big Ten. It's a Big Ten. Here's Chuck Schumer dodging that question.
The Democratic Socialists of America recently released their new platform. One of the things in that platform is to abolish the Senate and create a new unicameral House in Congress. Is this something Democratic Socialist candidates have been winning in races across the country? Is this something that has a place, this type of policy position in the Democratic
Bottom line is Democrats from one end of the spectrum to the other are going to be working to defeat Trump, to bring down costs, to go after his corruption, and to end the chaos.
In other words, I'm not answering. That's what he said. But I'm not surprised because he's afraid. He wants to keep his job. See, everybody in politics says the same thing. They want to keep their jobs. They want to stay in power. These are power-hungry people who want to stay in power. So if that means you let the DSA in, you let the commies in, so be it. If I can remain minority leader, then even better. Great. If I can remain a senator, even better. They don't care. They're like, yes, they will eventually capitulate and fall in line. Right now, they're hemming and hawing like, oh my God, these people have taken over the Democrat Party. Hey, dude, you let them in. You let them in. You gave them safe harbor. So stop. And you all agree on your nutty Medicare for all, universal health care. You've been saying that for decades. Like, stop acting like this is anything new. It's nothing new. And I just think the only thing that's different now is in addition to the wacky economic policies, you have the wacky social policies too, and the restructuring of government. And what unites them, the DSA, is their hatred of Israel. Some mainstream Democrats don't want to go down that road, but the DSA certainly does, no doubt about it. Here's Bernie Sanders doubling down on his support for Israel-hating Abdul El-Sayed after, again, he backed Graham Plattner. He backs all these kooks.
John Fetterman, your colleague in the Senate that you caucus with, said that he believes Abdul El-Sayed's candidacy and your involvement in these primaries is actually hurting the Democratic Party. This is what he said.
It means that puts that seat really in play. Absolutely. And that if he wins, that means there'd be a celebration over the GOP. 100%.
Is Bernie making it harder for Democrats to recapture the majority?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, what's he out on? Well, what's in it for him? You know, if it's not anything more at this point, ego. You know, maybe sit a few out, Bernie. You know, it's you're not helping.
Well, the last poll that I saw in Pennsylvania, not a whole lot of Democrats think that he is representing them. And as you know, there's some question whether or not he flips and becomes a Republican. So I would not put too much credibility in what somebody like Fetterman says.
He said you should sit this out.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So you think I should take his advice? I probably won't. But John, not going to take your advice. We're going to work as hard as we can, not only to elect El-Sayed, but Peggy Flanagan in Minnesota, and strong congressional candidates all over this country who have the guts to start taking on big money.
I don't think he and John Fetterman like each other. One of those whack job kooks is a woman named Francesca Hogg. I don't know how you say it. I don't really care. She's running for office. And the question they asked her was, and this is posted to social media by a very helpful site, DSA Watch. And she was asked about her points about abolishing the police. And typically now, when you say something like that, you that's what you believe. That's why you say it. But she's now in a difficult position because she doesn't really want that to come out right now as she heads to a general election. So take a listen to this, and here you go.
Why do you believe that the police must still exist?
Still exist? Because the reality of this moment and in the types of public safety systems that we have, I want us to be sensible and realistic, but we know now that the billions invested in the criminal legal system is not working. We are spending on incarcerating an individual more than tuition for UW-Madison. That, this is about making sure that local law enforcement, is working with community, that we are taking resources from the state and investing in in things like public education, victim services, out of school programs for our kids to go and have a great, like, be able to be themselves. These are things that data and facts have shown that prevent crime. Again, if you want to be tough on crime, you better be tough on causes.
Do you still long-term want to abolish police, but ultimately?
You know, I believe that we have to be serious about public safety, and I'm going to be a governor that is more serious than anyone else in making sure that we are building systems of care, that we are focusing on lowering crime, getting guns off of our street, and making sure that folks who are incarcerated, which 90% of those folks will be going back to community, that we're lowering.
All right, enough of this word salad. I'm off of salad right now because of the friggin' parasite. Anyway, Francesca Hong expands lead in final Marquette poll before the election, running for governor of the state. She's now leading, and the people behind her are trailing 20 points. So the reason why she's serving the word salad, just so you know, is because now she's getting ready for the general election. That's why. She's getting ready for the general election in Wisconsin, and she wants to sound less crazy than what she said in the past. And this is the playbook. You sound wacky in the primary, and then you try to sound less wacky for the general. And then if you win, you govern like a whack job. That's the playbook. All right. Now you know. There you go. Now you know. And you know who else is doing that? James Talarico, who has zero chance of winning Texas. Like, unfortunately, she's got a decent shot of winning Wisconsin, which scares the hell out of me. It really does, because that's a purple state, a swing state, a state that we can win, a state that we can hold on to. But she has a good shot. So exposing more of her craziness is a good thing, but she's going to dance around it. But here's James Talarico going on a rant. He's running in Texas for the United States Senate. Luckily, I don't think this guy has a shot in the world as more and more comes out about him, including the fact that he hates capitalism.
Trickle-down economics is not a theory. It is theft. They have been stealing the wealth that we all created. It's why everything sucks right now. It's why people are so angry.
It's why everything sucks right now. Jared, he sounds like he's running for high school student council president, doesn't he? Everything sucks now.
You know what sucks? That we used to be able to have, we should have free soda. It's what he sounds like. The guy that wanted free soda in the vending machine. And like they thought that was something the student council could do. It sucks having to pay $1 for a soda.
Pizza should be free on Fridays.
In terms of the woman, Wisconsin, I think you said that she's running for it. Could you ever have imagined that you could get to as far as she's gotten in politics by not answering questions? Like
not answering questions, right?
All the time you spent teaching candidates how to answer the question in a better way, or what they just start saying stuff until an aide pulls you out. Well, police are. I mean, it's a Veep sketch, right? Like, obviously, like we like police are important, and we're not sure about police, but like we just want to make sure everybody feels safe and that safety is important. And I think I answered your question. Like, what? How? I never would have believed you could get as far as a lot of these people get with just saying words and hoping no one noticed. I can't believe that works.
Just word, saying nothing the entire time.
And you saw she tried to leave that conversation like 3 times. She's like, thanks. And he's like, actually, I was just, here we go again. Like here we go again. She's like on and off of the screen until somebody finally yanked her away. Like it's insane. Really? It's an insane time.
Let's go. You've already won the primary. Get out of here.
100%.
Stop talking.
100%.
It's a 20-point lead, so now she's just trying to swim and float. She'll be doing that the entire general election, because as all of her nutty stuff comes back, she'll be throwing out word salads again.
Well, it's also like how did they not know that she'd get asked these questions, right? Like, you're not ready. For
prepare her for the answer. Maybe they did, and she just can't stay on message. That's certainly a possibility, right? We've seen that before.
Excuse us. Yep, we'll take you away. Taking her away now.
Excuse me. We're gonna physically remove you. Miss Hong, we're going to physically remove you now. The aide, if you're not watching, puts her arm on her shoulder and shoves her out of the shot and completely moves her away from the, stop talking. This lettuce is contaminated. Stop serving it to everyone, will you please? Your parasitic lettuce. Man. August 7th, Grand Hotel. Love for you to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you mark down the calendar. Make sure you take a Friday off. And that's from 3 to 6 p.m. live show. We'll hang out after. It's going to be fun. My Happy Place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. Next Friday, 1 week from tomorrow, August 7th, 3 to 6 p.m. Oh, I have a question, Jared, as a New Jersey resident. Can I drive to New York and go to the city-run, state-run grocery stores that Mamdani's spending $70 million each to build, and then we'll subsidize the food prices? Can I go? Can I use them?
I mean, I would have... Well, okay, so here's the thing. Normally, I would say you probably have to have a local driver's license, right? Like that you would have to like show proof, you get the local rate at whatever place if you can show that you're from there. That being said, I can't imagine that would be cohesive with a group of people who don't think ID should be required for things. Like,
and don't believe in borders. So
the amount of undocumented people that they want to shop at this grocery store is not zero. So like, I don't know, man. They should be carding. That's for sure.
So ID for lettuce, no ID to vote necessary, but ID if you want to buy food to prove that you live here. So we can enforce our borders and then turn you away from buying food. That's what we're going to do.
But then
that's what they're going to do, I should say, in New York City.
But what about people like upstate? Like, would you have to be in the city? You have to be in the boroughs? Could you, not like upstate, but like what if you live outside the city? You can't come in?
I don't know.
What do you work in the city? I mean,
no. You better be a resident of the city, so you can't use a state-run grocery store to pick up groceries for the drive home to Westchester County. No. You got to go to a private-run grocery store for that. We will enforce ID. We will physically remove you if necessary, because who does the enforcement? It's not hugs and candy and kisses. It's the police. So we do need the police to enforce the borders for the people that show ID and don't live here or won't show ID. Then we got to make sure that they put down the carrots. You, NYPD, Food Squad Division. Law and Order Food Squad. Dun dun. Put down the cans of soup. Come out with your arms high. Put down the soup. Put down the chunky. That chunky could be a weapon. Those cans are huge.
I know that you're joking, but I would 100% watch this show. Like I would watch this Law and Order right? soup VU or whatever. Yeah, 100. I'd be in.
Let's make it. Let's just create it ourselves.
We can make an AI version of it by the time the end of day here. We might as well.
Yeah. The cops show up and then the guy walks out. He's got 2 cans of chunky, like beef sirloin in one hand, chicken and biscuits in the other. And it's like, drop it. And he chucks it and they shoot him. And it's like, police shooting. And
is it like was it Cadillac Man? Like the guy's got the guy next to him, right? Like, don't leave. You got to stay right next to me as we come out of this thing if we want to get our soup. And he gets too far away and the police shoot him.
Yeah, or it's like Dog Day Afternoon. He's like, Attica! It's everybody riled up. The cops are on the bullhorn. Like, just put down the potatoes and we'll be fine. Attica! Oh, so stupid. But that's what they force us to do. We got to think stupid like them. Who's paying for the discounts at Mamdani's run grocery store? Reason.com with an excellent piece on this, breaking this down. The first will open in Hunts Point in the Bronx by the end of next year. Another will open in East Harlem by 2029. In total, the city plans to spend $70 million in capital costs, with $30 million funding the ground-up construction of at least one of the stores. The city will cover the rent and the property taxes. Private operators will run the day-to-day operations at each store. These operators will be contractually required to pass on savings to customers by offering discounts on a core basket of staples. It was unclear until Mamdani came out and had the press conference which goods would be discounted and by how much. Produce, meat, and seafood, along with 20 other items such as milk and bread. These items will be discounted by 30% compared to typical retail prices, with no exceptions, no gimmicks, 30%. Why? Because food prices have risen by 30% since 2019. When asked whether the city-run grocery stores would threaten surrounding businesses, Mamdani told reporters he doesn't give a blank. He really doesn't. He doesn't care. He says those stores will sell food or cigarettes, other things that these stores won't have. So But he doesn't give it. He doesn't care if he shuts down all these things. He believes that this is what the state and the city should do. I got news for you. If you're sitting here going, well, I don't care, I don't live in New York, this is coming to a neighborhood by all of us at some point. I mean, this is where the Democrat Party's going. They're embracing this stuff more and more and more and more. Let me tell you about Emmons Roofing and Siding, my great friends over there. If you need a new roof for your state-run grocery store, don't call them, because the city will be doing it. But if you need a new roof for your business or your home, call Emmons. They'll take great care of you. And they love helping their customers. It's why I am a customer and have been for over 12 years. 2 different homes. Unlike Bernie Sanders, I don't own more than one home. But in our old home, they renovated the kitchen and the bathroom, did a fantastic job, did the roof, did the windows. In our new home, they just renovated our kids' bathroom. Amazing work. You're going to get American-made roofing products, the best in the business, Owens Corning shingle, with a lifetime warranty on that roof. And in addition to that, the doors, the windows, the CertainTeed siding, made in America. But the prices are fantastic. They'll make sure the project is done on time, on budget, and they'll clean up when they're done. That's the Emmons difference. And they serve the entire region. So reach out to them today by going to emmonsroofing.com. EMMONS, emmonsroofing.com. You can trust them just like I trust them. Tell them I sent you, emmonsroofing.com. Let's cross the river, shall we, to New Jersey, where Politico reports that New Jersey's non-citizen registration brings private worries into the open. Democrats and Republicans agree the registration system is a mess. And they go on about a bipartisan duo of New Jersey state senators who introduced a simple piece of legislation that got little public attention. Politico writes, it would add 1 sentence to the state's automatic voter registration law to make sure someone who indicates they aren't a U.S. citizen won't be prompted to register to vote. The bill turned out to be extremely prescient. That's because Democrat Governor Mikie Sherrill disclosed last week that a software error, I'm using that in air quotes, software error, led to 6,600 non-citizens voting or being registered to vote with 400 voting. And by the way, when she refused to turn over the voter rolls and she said, well, I'm not going to turn over our citizens' information. I meant to make this point yesterday, but I forgot. They're not citizens. That's the whole point. They're non-citizens. But you see, in her mind, they're citizens of New Jersey, even though they're not citizens of the United States of America. That's not how it works. Okay, a state can't bestow citizenship on someone. That's not how that works. You can say our residents, you can't say our citizens, Mikie Sherrill, because they're not citizens and you can't make them citizens. You are not the government of the United States of America. You're the governor of New Jersey. But she was very deliberate in that. She also said, and New Jersey Globe reports on this, she's open to voter ID, but calls the SAVE Act voter suppression. Governor doubts New Jersey will remove voter registration from the Motor Vehicle Commission unless lawmakers change state law, saying on News 12, New Jersey's asked the governor, I don't have a problem with voter ID. Certainly if that was the law passed here, I would support that. I'm very opposed to the SAVE Act, she said. I do believe that is just a tool of voter suppression and an attempt to get all of the personal identifying information of New Jerseyans into the federal government systems, which I'm opposed to. But without the SAVE Act, you don't resolve the problem that you had at DMV, which is non-citizens registering to vote. Let's understand that point. She's like, well, I'm for you. People have to show ID to vote, but you give driver's licenses to people who are here illegally. So if that's the ID they use to vote, you're not solving the problem of non-citizens voting because you have no way to enforce that, because just simple voter ID means that an illegal immigrant who got a driver's license, because that's the law in New Jersey, if you're undocumented, quote unquote undocumented, you get to get a driver's license. So then you use that to show up to vote. And now you showed ID. See, that's the little game here that's being played. But you're smart enough to figure that out. So I'm glad you did. And you can't, this is why they're going to put up a fight over this. I just think that the Save America Act needs to happen. It has to pass. It has to come. Will it? Well, Mike Lee says this has to be done. And he points out the hypocrisy of Democrats who for years screamed, Russia, Russia, Russia. And you had to listen to them, just like I did, go on and on about how Kamala Harris saying, well, we should use paper ballots. Why? Russia can't hack a paper ballot. And then the cackle would come out. You know what I mean? Yeah, we heard about that for years and years. We heard Hillary Clinton talk about Russia would be able to hack into our voting machines, flip the election. Here's Senator Mike Lee.
Mr. President, this issue isn't going away. The Save America Act isn't going away. Voter ID requirement demands are not going away. I will be back. I will be back day after day, week after week until this passes. Because the American people deserve to go to bed every night knowing that their government is run by people they themselves elected. Not foreign nationals. They don't want a government that has been chosen with significant foreign influence in our elections. There was a time, Mr. President, when the Democrats in this august chamber, a time not so very long ago indeed, spoke of little else other than their fear of foreign election interference. Mr. President, if we don't face a real challenge as to foreign election interference right now, as long as we are not passing the Save America Act or its key components, it would appear that those who are against this are just fine now with foreign election interference. The American people shouldn't be.
Yeah, well, Mikie Sherrill refusing to turn over that information to the feds, and this is what she said.
New Jersey Governor Mikie Sherrill is blaming a software company and former Governor Phil Murphy over a glitch that allowed hundreds of non-citizens to vote in New Jersey.
Hang on a second. Just stop it for a second, Jared, if you would, please. You notice how and this is what I mean about the media. Like, she says it's a glitch. They report it as fact that it's a glitch. Like, it's just fact. Oh, it's a glitch. She said it, therefore it's a glitch. This is why people hate the media, for that reason. There's no skepticism. There's no like, well, she claims it's a glitch. However, some people say it's not a glitch, including the company responsible for the data. But nope, they want to establish it as fact at the beginning of the story. All right, keep going, please.
And Christine Sloan reports the Justice Department also wants to see records.
Governor Mikie Sherrill responding to a Department of Justice letter asking for the names and addresses of 400 non-citizens who cast ballots in New Jersey elections and the 6,600 who registered to vote. The Democrat says she's not going to turn over that data to the DOJ.
It's not a surprise to me that the federal government, that the Trump administration wants to immediately weaponize this against people.
Sherrill says she's launched an investigation. The DOJ has said, quote, it is illegal for any non-citizen to vote in a federal election. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt not revealing if New Jersey election officials could be prosecuted, but saying this.
The president is hell-bent on getting to the bottom of this, and it's also why we need to pass the Save America Act to ensure that only U.S. citizens are voting in U.S. elections.
Sherrill says the mistake happened before she took office between June 2023 and June 2024, adding IDEMIA, the Motor Vehicle Commission software vendor she's replaced, is responsible. IDEMIA, though, pushing back.
That software company says ultimately it is the responsibility of the State Division of Elections to verify voter eligibility. Your response to that, Governor?
So I think it's well known that the Motor Vehicle Commission has been a mess, and IDEMIA is at the heart of that.
Political analyst
All right,
Peter.
thank you, Jared. So you notice how you have to go like a minute 30 before you get IDEMIA's point. But by that point, if you're still watching, you've already heard that this was a software glitch. And then the governor bashing them and they give her the time to do it. This is how the media works. No pushback on that. Just that. And this is why people hate the media, bottom line. Let's see here. We also have this for you. We have Chicago solving the crime issue once and for all. I love this, Jared. I really do. I've long said the problem is criminals don't know what they're doing is illegal. And it's our job to let them know that what they're doing is illegal because they have no idea that they're breaking the law. So here's Chicago's new solution to crime. Take a listen.
We are putting up these signs as an indication of what the consequences will be to any criminal actions on the CTA. We are hoping to deter crime and to encourage people to move forward. in their witnesses of regret. These signs are a message to all of our riders and employees that we are working together with the County State's Attorney's Office to take action and ensure and promote a safe ride on the CTA.
Jared, do you think it's like a situation where like somebody on the subway comes up to you in Chicago or the L, starts to attack you and you're like, ah, and you point to the sign and the guy's like, oh, I had no idea that robbing you and beating the crap out of you was illegal. I'm so sorry, sir. Let me brush you off and have a nice day.
I think what I like about it is like, it feels like a meeting where there were no bad ideas, but really there were, but like everybody said there were no bad ideas. So like, okay, just guys, CTA, like it sucks. Nobody wants to write it. No idea is a bad idea. And then like, you know, whoever was like, what if we just told people crime's illegal? I'm like, oh, well, now we just made a big deal out of no bad ideas, good ideas, bad ideas. So like, I guess we have to do Jimmy's idea because Jimmy's dad sits on the board. Like he's a union guy. Right. And so like now we're doing Jimmy's idea, but like because they don't seem into this, right? Like they seem like these two women are in pantsuits on the CTA and they they look like this is the most amount of time they've spent on the L in their entire lives right now. is just putting these signs up. They look the most like I spent some time in Chicago. Those women don't look like what Chicago riders look like, right?
Right.
So like
they don't want to be there, period.
Yep.
So it's like as they're brainstorming, they're like, no idea is a bad idea. How about a sign saying the crime is illegal? Maybe people don't know. And they're like, yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Any other ideas?
No? Okay, that's Friday in the summer, so I guess we're done here. It's 12:30. We'll put the signs up. It's like a guy like stabs somebody to death and he looks up and he goes, wait, I just broke the law? Oh, what am I going to do?
Oh, no. Rich,
and then right across the subway is another advertisement, this time for an attorney. He's like, okay, absolutely. Good. At least I can, yeah.
Still got to pay the bills. Those women also look like they ride the subway like this, right? Like the arms at the... Like,
terrified.
I don't want to touch anything. I don't want anybody... Yeah. My phone's in my pocket.
Smell anybody.
I'm not gonna get it. Yeah, they look like a first-time tourist, you know, like just I refuse. I'm not going to get robbed. I hear there's pickpockets. Everything's dirty. Like just, you know, we're
those
here at the
over
CTA.
There
yeah.
Those men are not white. That man showing his penis. Yeah. So, I mean, I think they also, like, you notice the train is completely empty?
Well,
this was a special ride for the state attorney general, and that's why they're there, because this was a special ride.
Rich,
for only them.
If one of you is going to be in a pantsuit, can you not call each other and not have the other one of you in a pantsuit? Can't one of you just be in a blouse and a pencil skirt? Like why are you both wearing the uniform of somebody seeking the governorship of Illinois? Like just
still
like
I'm wearing the blue pantsuit. Yep. But it's not the same shade, is it? Wait, hang on. No, mine's a deeper blue. Okay, good. Mine's powder blue. Okay, good. Oh my God, like I'm so excited to put the signs up.
Nancy,
actually,
this
more
is why
of
we
a cream.
told you.
Mine's more of a cream color.
We told you to bring options. This is why. You're gonna have to change. Actually, I mean, honestly, Rich, this other one, like, let me rewind it. Her pantsuit, you can see the creases. That came right out of the box. Like that's the first time this powder blue pantsuit lady has been wearing this. Period. Like it's
very well pressed. It really is. Yeah.
It's got the shipping, you know, like right across where it's not supposed to be. Poor person.
Do you think now they're in Chicago? Will they get the fallout when Trump nukes Cleveland? Will they experience that from where they are?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. You'd have to assume, right?
Because if that's the case, I mean, considering he's going to nuke Cleveland soon, they should put up even more signs, you know, because crime's going to go up. I think typically after a nuclear attack, even if it's our own president attacking the citizens, you have division, riots, whatnot, you know. So like maybe we should speed up the signage, you know, more looting's illegal, you know. Oh, yeah, this is Joy Behar with her latest conspiracy claim about what Trump's going to do.
The thing that I really can't stand about him right now is that he starts a war in Iran because they're going to get a nuclear weapon. Now he's making a deal with the Saudi Arabians that will allow them to produce a nuclear weapon. Now, where is the head of the Republican Party in this? Because they have the power to get rid of him.
And they will say that the Saudis are not allowed to make a nuclear weapon, but they're allowed to enrich.
I see. Then we'll go to war with the 9/11 group. The Saudis were behind 9/11.
Yeah.
And are they waiting for him to drop a nuke on Cleveland? What are they waiting for? To do something? Now I'm scared. See, I grew up hiding under the desk. I was one of those kids, and you were probably too, Whoopi, where they said a nuclear bomb's about to hit, get under your desk, like that would do anything. And I've been scared of that. I never took my library books back because I said, we're all going to die anyway. That is a fact. And now we have a guy who is enabling that rogue nation because, by the way, they're going to give tens of billions of dollars. That's what's behind this. Follow the money with this guy.
Always follow the money. You know,
I want...
You know, I think that she spent a lot of time hiding under the desk, and I think that may explain why Joy Behar is Joy Behar. She hid under desks a lot. Definitely paranoid. I know a lot of people who went through those nuclear drills, and they came out just fine. Clearly, Joy did not. It damaged her on the inside, and Whoopi too. But I think nuking Cleveland would be fun. So,
how could you tell?
Cleveland?
Yeah, like honestly, I mean, you and I went to Cleveland together. We were at a convention there once. Yeah, but like
we hung
you told
out.
me that they nuked Cleveland 10 years before that, I'd be like, oh, I mean, yeah, it kind of looks
makes sense.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense than that this is just what Cleveland looks like in its resting state, right? Like it would make more sense if there was a huge problem other than the river being on fire that Cleveland was trying to figure out than that this is what a city in Ohio looks like all the time.
Yeah. No, it's so on the one hand, she's angry that we're at war with Iran, trying to stop them from getting a nuke. But she's also mad that we're not stopping Saudi Arabia from getting a nuke. I don't really get that point. Because if you're mad about going to war with Iran because you don't want them to get a nuke, but you're also mad that we're not going to war with Saudi Arabia to stop them from getting a nuke, or just telling them what to do or bossing them around or whatever, then you're also mad about that. So I can't follow. I'm confused. I really am. I'm confused.
You know what it reminds me of, Rich? First Trump term, there was in Hawaii a false air raid that told people to
I remember.
hide in the gutters. Like people were putting their children in. It was crazy. But they blamed Trump because Trump had set the climate for creating this kind of scare, that they wouldn't have been scared of this if it was a different president. And they also simultaneously were saying that, so he was raising that, and it's his fault, but it's also his fault for sitting down with North Korea because he's emboldening them by trying to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon. Like, it's his fault for taking the tone down, and it's his fault for raising up the tone. Like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like, that's Joy. She's furious that he's going after these guys because, like, hey, they're going to get a nuclear weapon. But, like, also, these other guys are going to get a nuclear weapon, and you should do something about it. Like, what?
That's what I wish you'd nuke my town. And just end it. Just end it for me. Man, that's a good point, Jared. I did enjoy the old fashioned we had at that speakeasy in Cleveland.
Ooh.
And our buddy Susie Cool's from the Cleve, so I don't want to knock it.
I'm happy to knock any city. If you bring up a city, I'm just going to slander it.
True.
That was a great speakeasy in Cleveland.
That was a great speakeasy.
I can't imagine it's there post-COVID, but
no.
Loved it when it was there.
No chance.
No.
COVID killed that too. Fauci killed that place. Yep. Definitely. And I'm sure early on in the pandemic, they probably named the drink after him. You know what I mean? This is like a hipster place. They're probably like, yeah, it's the COVID. It's the Fauci Negroni. You know what I mean? Something like that. And then 6 months later, they're shut down.
I used to go to a taco spot that had two menus, and it was like a Democrat themed and a Republican themed menu. And this kind of taco was called the Bad Hombres. And then on the other side, it was the what at this point, what does it matter tacos? And like they were all, and I was like, such a good idea. COVID killed it, ironically enough, but it was such a good idea when it was there.
Yeah. COVID killed it.
Oops.
And by COVID, we mean draconian lockdowns, obviously.
Correct.
So, yeah. What else do we have for you today? August 7th, Cape May, New Jersey, the Grand Hotel. Please join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, 3 to 6 p.m. It's a week from tomorrow, okay? So take your Summer Friday. You deserve it. The question that I love this, CBS Sunday Morning. Would you study to become an influencer? And I know at first thought you're probably like, that's stupid. Why would that be a major? Why would that be a thing? Listen to the business reporter from CBS Sunday Morning explain what this is all about.
Would you be happy if your child comes home after the first semester and goes, Mom, Dad, I'm studying to be an influencer? So ASU is now offering a Bachelor of Arts in Content Creation. And here's how they describe it. The school says students will learn to create powerful content across video, podcasts, social media, and emerging platforms, all while building their brand and mastering the art and science of digital influence. So when I first heard this, I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Like, okay, people are going to be like learning how to take the perfect selfie.
Right.
But then I actually dug into the curriculum, and it was classes about audience analytics, copyright law, building a business. And when you think about it, like, yes, we all think like social media influencers, oh, it's so frivolous.
They make a lot of money.
Actually, but they're actually also small businesses. So I was kind of, but I do think they need kind of a rebrand, like maybe entrepreneurship, digital entrepreneurship.
Influencer is kind of a loaded word now, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
the connotation of the word influencer has changed over time, and it's negative. Not as negative as you would assume, but I think I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I changed my mind after hearing that.
I mean, I want to take it. We all have to
Alex
become
Earl
news
started,
influencers.
we've talked about Alex Earl and how she started in college doing exactly this.
Well, I also think too, like what we do here on this podcast, for example, it's a small business that we're doing. Now, we may cash in at one point. Do you see, Jared, that guy who got $100 million deal with Netflix, I think it was, for his podcast? What's the guy's name?
I didn't see this one. I did see there were some dudes that were into AI that sold their podcast. Maybe it was to Netflix for a ton of money, but they don't even have that many views. Like they were averaging. Yeah, like it's because well, we're getting deep into this, but sometimes it's not about how many people watch it. It's having the exact right people watch it. And so these AI guys were talking deep AI, like, markdown files and like all sorts of stuff. And so the only people that watched it are hardcore AI people. And so that's why it had the value. It was they didn't have a ton of people, but they had all the right people.
Jay Shetty, who apparently is a socialist, he got a $100 million podcast deal, and he's turning that into a conscious empire. That's what he says. My buddy, who's a finance guy, writes me and says, it's funny how fast you ditch being a monk or a socialist, because he was both, when you get paid $100 million. Claims he's going to do good in the world with his money, but lives in a $8 million home. But $100 million for a podcast. He launched the podcast 7 years ago. And I guess he's like a wellness guru or something like that.
Yeah, it's very dark background. It's him. There was just like two guys but him in an interview on a couch. It's all very like, he's very purposeful and like soft-spoken. I do know who that is. I can't believe his brand is worth that. I also think all these brands, like Huffington Post, great example. It was a bunch of people working to the cause, and we're all going to take down the man.
Yeah.
And then Ariana Huffington got her $250 million, didn't share it with any of the writers who'd been working many times for free for a decade. And everyone was like, oh, I thought we were in this together. And I was like, we were, till we got a payday. And then there's only one of us on the letterhead. So good luck.
And then that's not very socialist, because socialists would share all that money evenly and redistribute it to everyone fair and square, but not so much how it works. Not really.
Everybody's a socialist until there's actual money to be counted. And then all of a sudden.
Yeah. When they make money, there's all of a sudden they turn into evil capitalists. That's how it works.
Every time.
$100 million podcast deal. They call that, in the article too, they said that it is currently the hottest like showbiz growth sector podcasts. So instead it's so in other words, back to that story about that, teaching people, if you're going to launch a podcast or launch a video show or whatever it is, how you get sponsors, how you make money, how you deliver for the sponsors, how you budget, how you hire people, how you expand your brand management, all these things, content creation. I do actually think that that's useful. I don't know if it's useful as a major, but I would say it's useful as an elective, as part of an overall business major. I don't know if that's like, I don't know if you justify studying all that for 4 years. It sounds like one semester for me at college. You know what I mean?
It's a very ASU. She said, it's Arizona State University. I was like, of course it's ASU.
Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah, like it was that or going to be Florida State.
Yeah.
Like that was a gimme. That's a layup.
Yeah. And how many guys want to date or marry the woman who's majoring in that?
100%.
I think you know what I'm talking about there.
Listen, man, there's no uggos in any of those courses. I can promise you that.
No, and I would 100% take that class. In fact, there's probably a waiting list to take it just for that reason.
They probably
no doubt about it.
The men probably there's like a as otherwise it's going to be overrun, and you got to like a club. You got to keep it mixed.
Yeah, you got to keep that's what you got to do. All right, that's the show. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back with you tomorrow for a special Friday edition with Dr. Wilfred Riley. And 1 week from tomorrow, we're live at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. So mark your calendar. And I want to ask you to please go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the Rich Zeoli podcast, not the Rich Zeoli show. That's run by the evil empire, not us. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe and like button. If you're not watching on YouTube, come back and check out our videos later when you get a chance. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Let's go.